This is the AMDM, your quick morning podcast full of Memphis news. I'm Natalie Van Gundy. Today is Tuesday, July 21st. Have you voted yet? If not, there are more than 9,000 people who are more on top of things than you are. That's about how many people voted last Friday and Saturday in the first 2 days of early voting in the county general election and state and federal primaries. We don't have Monday's numbers yet, but that's an 18% increase over the first 2 days of the same cycle in 2022. Downtown Memphis's Front Street is getting a multi-million-dollar facelift. Drivers and businesses will have to navigate street closures until winter. The city of Memphis is renovating the streets near the Memphis Art Museum to take it to the 21st century, according to Downtown Memphis Commission President and CEO Shandell Ryan. Streets near the new museum will be closed until early December. Front Street from Monroe to Union Avenues is the only stretch currently closed, and cars and pedestrians are advised to follow detours. The project will reduce the street to 3 lanes, upgrade sidewalks and landscaping, and install ADA-accessible curb ramps and curb extensions. And now it's time for a look at one of the week's biggest stories with Mary Cacciola. But stay with us after that for more of the day's news.
In the past year, LeMoyne-Owen College has quietly grown its property holdings from 17 to 20 acres, an almost 18% increase in the size of its campus. As they often do, the property transactions point to a larger transformation at the college. In LeMoyne-Owen's case, that includes growing enrollment and adding more classroom space. Joining us today is commercial real estate reporter Andy Ashby to talk about the purchases and what they mean for the school. I'm Mary Cacciola. Andy, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so you keep up with property transactions as part of your job.
Yeah.
I think that actually is your job.
Yeah, it's you got to find the stories to write about them. So yeah.
When did you first notice that LeMoyne-Owen was making changes?
Well, I was doing my my regular kind of property search. I do that pretty often, and just I noticed one on Mississippi Boulevard, and LeMoyne-Owen is a name that kind of stands out. So I looked it up, and then I backtracked a little and saw some more recent transactions, including a much larger one over on Macklemore for their proposed town center.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so they bought the former YWCA Greater Memphis building and then the town center. Can you tell us more about those and what they're doing?
Yeah, sure. So they bought the former YWCA of Greater Memphis for their School of Education. There's currently a daycare in that part of the building, but when they move out, probably in about a year or so, LeMoyne's plans to start working on, adding classrooms and offices and stuff. But they have a couple of other different projects going on. Right next to that building is the former Bethel Presbyterian Church building. Okay. They're going to turn that into their School of Business and Entrepreneurship. Just this past February, FedEx gave them a $500,000 grant for their business school. So that's really going to help with the redevelopment because they just filed a $1.5 million construction permit for that property. And one thing that I kind of think is important, it adds seats for them, but also it's going to kind of increase their visibility because they're going to add some signage to that corner, which is Mississippi and Saxon. Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And then also the town center, that's the big one. Yes. They bought that earlier this year for $1 million, and that should also bring a lot of visibility. It's right across the street from the Stax Museum of American Soul Music. And that building, and then its kind of sister building, which is a 36,000 square foot building right next to it, currently houses Memphis Rocks, which is a climbing gym. There you go. Those properties have existed since 2010, and now they have one of them. So. Yeah.
I was doing a little research before we sat down and, doing my Googling as you do, and realized that I actually wrote a story about the town center at Soulsville Project in 2006.
Yeah.
And at the time, I don't think I just wrote the one story because I remember it being a pretty big deal because it was supposed to bring a grocery store. Like that was the original plan, was like, we're going to do a grocery store here. It's a food desert. I don't think a grocery store ever materialized. But at one time, that building was supposed to be like an economic development project for the neighborhood. It was being done by the CDC. when we're talking about all these property transfers, I am reminded that property transfers tell us a story, right? Like I'm reminded of the story. It might be urban legend. I don't really know of Disney going down into Florida and secretly buying land, buying secret orange groves, right? And not telling anyone, hey, we're about to put Disney World in Orlando or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I think we've seen the same thing locally with St. Jude.
Oh, yeah.
Buying up property. So I guess that's all a very long way to say of like, as the school is growing and buying all this property, what are they planning to do?
Well, I mean, they're planning to grow, obviously, but you have to own the land before you can build on it. You can lease a space or you can lease a building, but, are you going to put money into a building that someone else's owns?
Right.
It's a hard sell. It kind of actually, on a tangent, I think about the University of Memphis getting the Liberty Bowl. They're going to be incentivized as the main tenant to make improvements, whereas the city of Memphis may or may not.
Sure.
But that's a whole other thing.
Danger. Let's not go too far into that topic.
But yeah, so this was part of their master plan, and and it was that Self-Tucker Architects kind of helped them with years ago. On the public record, it's the town center is listed as a shopping center, and it's Dr. Davis with the president of LeMoyne-Owen said it stalled for a lot of different reasons. But they're gonna, now that they own it, it's a nice looking building. It was built in 2010. It's been empty, but they're going to include classrooms for not only LeMoyne-Owen, but also for the Soulsville Charter School, which is right across the street. It's in addition to classrooms, it's going to have a dining hall, bookstore, cafe, and a community computer lab.
Okay. I think they just opened a dining hall earlier this year, but are they planning to move the dining hall?
Well, Mary, that's breaking news. Your instincts from your reporter days are still
just
intact.
Right there, just keenly honed. Yep.
So I reached out to my source over at LeMoyne, and they told me that the town center's dining hall is going to be the new dining hall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The current dining hall is in the student center, and that's going to be repurposed for student engagement programming. It's called Robert C. Lipscomb Dining Hall. They also have 807 Cafe, which is basically a kiosk space for sandwiches, smoothies, quick bites.
Okay.
But the new dining hall is going to be open to students not only from LeMoyne, but also Soulsville Charter School to help expose them to some of their college life experiences.
Oh, wow.
It sounds like the whole town center, it's definitely for the college, but my impression is it's going to be large parts of it are going to be open to the community as well.
Right. Okay. And it definitely sort of sounds like more maybe of a partnership between the two schools.
Yeah. And it's, again, that visibility,
right. Right.
Everyone knows where Stack's Academy is,
yes.
But like LeMoyne, the campus is really nice if you can find it, but it's not on main streets.
Right.
Its main address is
it's just sort of like set back a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Macklemore is a pretty visible street, and people are going to come by, and if they put their signage up, I think that's going to kind of help people identify.
Yeah, it's sort of nice to get a larger campus. You see students like walking, because students have to walk to the dining hall or whatever. Maybe they'll be in classes. Who knows? We're just making it up as we go along at this point. But for this story, you were able to talk to LeMoyne-Owen President Christopher Davis. So what did he tell you?
Well, he said that they needed it, partially because, they've increased enrollment. He said they anticipate an enrollment of 850 students this fall, which is up from about 572. And
that's really amazing in terms of percentages.
Yeah. That was 3 years ago, but still, I probably should have done the percentage on that.
Well, we can just guesstimate, but it's like 300 students. And if you only have 572, it's more than about 50% increase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, he just said, they've been needing additional classroom space for some time. He said that there's just been a lot more interest really recently for historically black colleges and universities, and they're trying to meet that need.
Yeah, it sounds like they're really making some moves. Do you think that they will continue to buy more property in the area?
I think so. Dr. Davis said they have their eyes on a lot of parcels, other parcels. They're cutting the ribbon on a new, 5,700 square foot technology research center on Saxon. Also, I saw they bought a small house right next to the Bethel Church this year. Just a little tinket. There's several a lot of undeveloped buildings and properties around the campus. And if they have the money, I really think that could present an opportunity for them.
Yeah.
I looked up some of their fundraising, and they have their 5th annual 807 Giving Day. It's a telethon named after 807 Walker Avenue, which is their main address. Mm-hmm. They raised $170,000 last August.
Oh, that's great.
$170,000, in a good day. Again, if they've got the money, I think there's definitely the opportunity.
I have definitely heard in the past, who knows what I was talking about, but when you have property near the eds and meds, right? Colleges, hospitals, at some point you can pretty much be assured that that property is going to be eyed by those institutions because they are institutions that take up a lot of land.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's what's happening here.
Yeah. Dr. Davis did point out that they're landlocked, and that's been a challenge. I think there's, again, plenty of opportunity for them to do that. It's just making sure, they have the money to do so. But I think it could be a huge, anchor for that neighborhood.
Yes.
They already have a large impact, but I think, again, that increased visibility,
right?
It just helps,
Yes.
It's that retail kind of frontage mindset. If you see it, you're more likely to,
right.
go there.
It helps grow enrollment, definitely.
And they have been a bit of a hidden gem, I think. Dr. Davis certainly seems to think so.
Andy, thanks for being here.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening in. More news is coming up next.
Hive is set to open its East Memphis location by late August. Sophia Surratt says the second location at 585 Aaron Drive will be in the former Holiday Deli and Ham Company space.
Hive's new East Memphis space is 6,000 square feet, which makes it about 7 times larger than the original downtown Memphis site at 273 South French Street. The new deli and bakery will be able to seat 80 people inside and will have a much larger menu. Hive's new location will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. For the Daily Memphian, I'm Sophia Surratt.
Memphis Shelby County Schools qualifies for a state takeover in part because of its performance on state tests, low-performing schools, and student attendance. Laura Testino says, according to a law passed this spring, any Tennessee school district that meets 4 of 6 of the criteria must be taken over.
Memphis Shelby County Schools claims that it is unconstitutional in Tennessee for the state to rely on prior or retrospective data, according to court records. Tennessee state officials argue the district qualifies for all 6 of the takeover criteria. Attorneys for MSCS and the state are set to meet on Friday to schedule a hearing in the case. The outcome of that hearing could determine if the takeover resumes or not. For the Daily Memphian, I'm Laura Testino.
That's the AMDM for this Tuesday, July 21st. I'm Natalie Van Gundy. Find links to all of the stories mentioned in this episode in the podcast description. Listen and subscribe to this podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or on the Daily Memphian's website. You can also hear us on WYXR 91.7, where our local news stories air every weekday throughout the day. And don't forget to subscribe to our other weekly podcasts hosted by your favorite reporters, including Soundbites, the Daily Memphian's Food and Dining podcast with Holly Whitfield, The Sidebar, the Daily Memphian's Arts and Culture podcast with Eric Barnes, and the Daily Memphian Grizzlies podcast with Drew Hill and Chris Harrington. You can also sign up for our breaking news alerts and our mini weekly newsletters we offer by visiting dailymemphian.com/email. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to start your day here again tomorrow.